And just like, like after Mount St. Helens or whatever, when you've dropped a nuclear bomb, what grows back first? What do you think? The weeds. And so that's a bad bacteria. So literally, probiotics you have to give yourself. It doesn't come back on its own. The weeds come back, believe me. And so some of the things that contribute to microbial imbalance are the following, and toxins are a big one also, a huge one. Dysbiosis, this is what we refer to as, as toxins, parasites contributing to this. Wide junctures between cells. Then this is basically what you end up with. You have functional dyspepsia, ulcers, autoimmune, psoriasis, eczema, irritable bowel disease. All the autoimmune diseases are related to this. This is known as leaky gut syndrome. And how many are familiar with that term? Okay? Leaky gut syndrome in functional medicine is at the root cause of all autoimmune diseases. It's inflammatory. This is a blow-up of basically a wearing down, bad bacteria getting in there. What we find with gluten, I'll just give you a heads up on gluten, and what the challenge, and we were talking earlier about malabsorption issues. Gluten wears down the microtubules. Okay, so in the lining of the gut, if we blew this up, it'd look like a shag carpet, and that's how nutrients are absorbed in. It's the lining of the gut. What happens with gluten is it wears down that shag, and you end up with this. You end up with Berber. Okay, so with malabsorption, because of gluten wearing down that shag, the nutrients are not being absorbed. With leaky gut, the macronutrients, food particles, etc., are leaking out of the body. And what the body has, there's very specific cells. If anything leaks out of the gut, the tube, they're like cells with machine guns. And they end up just mowing down anything that's out there. They're not discriminate. They just shoot everything. The problem is they keep their finger on the trigger of the machine gun, and they keep shooting healthy tissue. That's autoimmune. Okay, that's a easy explanation as what happens autoimmune. This is basically what I was just saying. You're seeing healthy. You see the shags there, and you see there you're starting to break down, wear down the shags. Leaky gut syndrome. Inflammation is the end result of all of this leaky gut. Okay, inflammation is the root cause of all issues. Okay, so we've developed spectacular medical food. Medical food, by the way, is in between a nutraceutical and a pharmaceutical, so it's regulated by the FDA. It needs to be under the supervision of a licensed practitioner. The ingredients have to be generally regarded as safe. You have to show the FDA, the research, that it does this. You cannot make multiple claims on it. You can only make one claim that it does this specific thing. But you've got to show them the research. So there's a medical food addressing gut restoration, fixing the leaky gut. That's what this is about. So it's a powdered delivery, and it has very specific nutrients in it, which I'll show you in just a minute, but it's addressing all these issues. Human milk oligosaccharide, it's referred to as 2-fucosyllactose. It's a molecule that's present in breast milk, and it's been found to, number one, to be a prebiotic, so it's helping the probiotic, and it also functions as a decoy. So the HMO, the human milk oligosaccharide, functions if there's a parasite, if there's unwanted microorganisms coming through. It's acting as a decoy before that particular unwanted compound reaches the lining of the gut. Okay? So a very unique delivery. It's a profound new discovery. Also, on on that. Let's see. The new delivery of glutamine. How many are familiar with what glutamine does? It's an amino acid that heals the gut substantially. This is a new delivery of glutamine that we've picked up. It's 224% more bioavailable than normal glutamine because it's attached to a peptide, so it's a dipeptide. And that's what's in here. So 20 added vitamins and minerals, free of soy, fructose, non-GMO, low sugar, great taste. And then that shows you the kind of what's in it over there, the calories, proteins, etc., etc.
And right at the end tonight, we're going to make some of that. So just as we finish up, we're going to have you take an assessment so you can kind of measure what's going on. And then what we'll do is Kevin's going to walk in the kitchen and he's going to make some of that. And
bartender
samples of a lot of the products over here. So just as we finish up, you'll be able to kind of get some questions answered. We have some literature, and then you'll be able to sample.
So this is just real quick. We've done everything pretty much we do. This is this type of stuff we show to the FDA, the research we've done on this, so number of patients. What this is just showing real quick is GI symptoms, is just, from baseline, how well did they do, the feeling in the gut, et cetera, You've got anywhere from a 20% total score, 18% GI symptoms, social function domain, so around a 20% increase in efficacy within just a few weeks. This is interesting bifidobacteria, which is we saw before in the slide, very critical in the gut, probiotic that's in the gut. And it showed a 1,890.1% increase in the upregulation of bifidobacteria in the gut. So a very profound delivery. Probiotics, just cover that real quick. Regulate appetite, regulate bowel, prevent changes, regulate inflammation, support mucosal, prevents infections, on and on and on. And I think everybody understands the importance of probiotics, right? This is critical because I think one of the things that people don't get is that there is a major difference in probiotics. Okay? FDA or Attorney General in state of New York a couple of years ago went to Costco, or GNC, Rite Aid, Walmart, I think Walgreens, and they picked out like probiotics and some other supplements. They found absolutely nothing. There wasn't anything there in the probiotics. So the most expensive product you can buy is one that doesn't work, okay? It's just expensive toilet water. And so it's very critical that you pick a strain, genus, species, strain designation. You have to absolutely have testing on this. I explain it this way. It's like a dog. Probiotics are like dogs, okay? You've got dogs, and you've got certain species of dogs that do certain things. And so, like you've got the Alaskan Husky or Alaskan Sled Dog that do a certain thing. A Chihuahua, what does it do? I'm not quite sure what that does. So it's like, but there are certain dogs that have certain functions, and that's the way probiotics are too. So certain strains do certain things. So the question is, can I eat yogurt? Yep, you can eat 37 tubs of yogurt to get one benefit from like one capsule of our probiotic. So I'm going to probably skip this. This was a little video. Very critical here. This is just a couple of slides. You can't see that too well, can you? 287 chemicals detected in the umbilical cords of newborn babies. And that study was done in 2005. I can tell you that it's worse now than it was then.
Was that when they started to test this? Because have they gone back?
I don't know when they actually started to test it, yeah. But pesticides, waste material, on and on and on and on. I mean, there are CDC, Center for Disease Control, tested, a number of people, and pretty much all of us have 212 chemicals, different chemicals in us, all to be found in blood and urine of most Americans. And so what? So what does that mean to you? So it means that if you have, it contributes to allergies, diabetes, obesity, chemical sensitivities, fibromyalgia, fertility problems, Parkinsonians, chronic infections, autoimmune, lupus, etc., etc., etc. It just goes on and on and on. There is a direct link between toxins and chronic disease. It's no longer a theoretical alternative medicine concept. It is real, okay? Look for symptoms. This is one I love here, irritability. So whenever I'm irritable, I just blame it on the toxins. I don't take responsibility for that. Okay, so difficult to concentrate. Difficult concentrating. Let's see, what was I just talking about? So what we've done, Dr. Himmer's really grabbed hold of this and understands the importance of detoxification. Metagenics Dr. Jeff Bland created this 25 years ago, the concept of functional detoxification. And the program we have addresses what we call phase 1, 2, anybody in the medical community, phase 1, phase 2. Phase 1, the toxins are stored in fat tissue, primarily the liver and other fat cells. They cannot be excreted unless they're converted to a water-soluble metabolite. And so the liver has an incredible ability to change the biochemistry of that. The problem is it's overloaded. So it's like a clogged up sink. And what happens to those toxins if the liver isn't handling that? They flow out into the bloodstream. And when they flow out in the bloodstream, that's when you have the chronic disease. That's when you have the autoimmune. Okay? That's when you're sick. So there's a questionnaire that we have. Ruth has those to distribute. But that's where you start.
We're going to hand them to you right at the end.
And you start with a questionnaire. Anything under 50, you're mildly toxic. Anything over 50, then you definitely need to do a longer detoxification. So we put together, there's a medical food that addresses phase 1 and phase 2, converting the toxins into water soluble, excreting the toxins, balancing the body, because what we find is that if the body is too acidic, the urine is too acidic, it inhibits the elimination of toxins in the urine, in the kidneys. And so potassium citrate corrects acidity, makes you more alkaline. That's in the product. And this is the only product on the market which actually addresses heavy metal elimination. So it's doing that. If anybody's biochemistry major, sounds like you may be back there, it's upregulating metallothionein, which is a protein in every cell. And that metallothionein transports primarily copper and zinc from across from cell to cell. So this is picking up every heavy metal, and transporting it up to the liver, and then the liver's doing the rest. Now, this has been confirmed Genova lab, 2 urine analysis. So we have patients, pee in a cup, send it into the lab, and that was baseline, and then checked them every other day as far as heavy metals coming out, including mercury, all heavy metals coming out. Very, very profound. So that's in our Ultra Clear, our Clear Change kits. It comes in a 10-day and a 28-day detox kit.